So yeah, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here today. I thought today I would share a little bit more about my business, 1Networking. And I know you're sitting there thinking, well, duh, we all know about 1Networking, although to be fair, Machaba probably doesn't because this is your first visit. But we're currently working on some material that we can put out there to share with well, members, but also visitors about what 1Networking is to help them really understand that it is more than just a networking meeting once a week. So with your permission, I'm going to share, it's literally the bare bones of it. We've not created any graphics, it's just some bullet points, and it's not loads because we've only just started working on it, but some bullet points about it. A, you might learn something about that you didn't realize about 1N, but B, I would love your feedback either within the meeting or afterwards about whether putting graphics together that share this content would be useful, or if I've missed anything, or if I need to add anything, etc., etc. So that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. Fantastic. Okay, so your first lesson from 1Nsight, folks, is how to use Zoom, because I've only been using it constantly for 4 years, and how to use PowerPoint, which to be fair, I never use. So there we go. Right, so that's our logo first and foremost. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the why of 1Networking. So there's kind of like 5 things that I believe that we deliver at 1Networking and that you guys help us deliver by being members and being part of the meetings. And they are as follow. So first of all, support. I think support is possibly the biggest thing that people in business really need. We might sit there and think, oh, I need new customers, I need new leads, which of course is very, very important. But first and foremost, particularly if you're in business on your own or we're working remotely with a team, which is certainly what I do. It's definitely not just me in 1N, but it's just me here in this office. So support is massive. And by support, we mean, so RIO for Machaba's benefit, RIO stands for referrals, introductions, opportunities. So that's basically leads for some form of lead for new business. And that is all part and parcel of the support, thinking about each other and thinking, right, what is it that somebody provides and how can I help them get closer to that? Brainstorming ideas as well is really important. Getting ideas, getting feedback. So this insight actually is a little bit about me getting feedback from you guys so that you can say, yeah, I think that is definitely what we provide at 1Networking, or you've forgotten about this. So that's what I really hope people do use their weekly team meetings for, is for support. So support is a really important thing. Secondly, connection. So that's typically what people expect when they go networking. They expect, well, it's about getting new connections. And of course it is. It's about building relationships with people that you already know. And it's about getting brand new contacts. So in today's meeting, we've all got the opportunity to do both. Some of us know people in the meeting, and then there are some people in the meeting that we don't know. So brilliant for doing that. Business development is so important, and business development outside of 1Networking can be quite costly because you pay for courses, you pay for resources. What we try and do within 1N is to try and build in business development within the membership. So we do that because in our weekly team meetings we have, so for example, right now there are 6 people on this call that have got such breadth and depth of knowledge and expertise just within this group that is just phenomenal. If we all sat down and emptied our heads full of the expertise that we all had, it would take forever because we're all so brilliant. But that is what, again, being in a room with people doing different businesses, that's what it's all about. We can learn so much from each other. We also put on, I'll come on to this in the next slide, we also put on specific resources for business development as well, such as the Business Academy, which we'll talk about. So just sharing each other's knowledge, exchanging ideas, and sharing introductions that we have for each other. That's all about, we're really proud of the business development element of 1Networking. Collaboration is wonderful. So in our weekly team meetings, we're single seat, so we only have one person per category, as you all know. But that doesn't mean that, that does mean that there's loads of collaboration opportunities within different business sectors. But then we also have our all-inclusive events, which means that you can also potentially meet with people in the similar industry to you, where amazing collaborations can happen as well. And I think that's really important to create new partnerships, get new ideas, and create new products and services. And we've got some wonderful examples of that between members that have already happened. And motivation. Who here sometimes wakes up in the morning and just thinks, oh, just don't know where to start, and I can't be bothered doing what I need to do today. I do that sometimes. But I think being part of a team, which you all are, the team Inception here, being part of a team really helps, knowing that you're going to be meeting with your team once a week for 90 minutes. It brings motivation, it brings inspiration. I've never left a 1Networking meeting, whether there's 5 people in the room, 15 people, or 50 people in the room. I never leave a 1N meeting without feeling motivated and inspired, either by everybody, or by one person that's done the insight, or by one person's story in the 1 minute, or by a one-to-one, or by something that I've learned. I always leave with a bit more motivation. Accountability, we hope that you have regular accountability sessions in the breakout rooms, and I know for a fact that you all check in on each other. We had a conversation before, somebody said, has anyone heard from? And if we haven't, then we'll check in on them. So all that kind of thing is very, very motivating. So the 5 kind of pillars, if you like, that I feel that members can get from 1Networking is support, connections, business development, collaboration, and motivation, which I feel are really important. So that's why we kind of do it. And how we do it, well, we have our weekly team meetings, which is what we're part of here today. And again, kind of doesn't matter. Yes, it's great if you have 20 in the room or whatever, but it doesn't matter how many people in the room. Every single part of the meeting is designed to help us tick one of the pillars that we've just seen. And we'll come on to that in a second. So we have the weekly team meetings, but in addition to that, we have a really great all-inclusive program, which includes our sprint meetings. For those of you that haven't done that, they are 1 hour long, and they are where you get usually between 7 and 8 one-to-ones within that meeting. So that's great for building connections, building relationships, finding collaboration partners, and things like that. Our visitor meetings, so that's where we invite people that aren't members of 1Networking and members. So that again is great for making new connections, building relationships, learning new stuff. Our business academy, so once a month we have a live Zoom with an expert in one area. And by the way, if any of you, and I know a few of you have already delivered, more than happy if any of you would like to deliver a 1N business academy session, please do let me know, because that's a great way for you to raise your profile and to demonstrate your expertise. And it's a brilliant way for members outside of your team to learn about your subject area. And we've got some great past resources on that, because we've built up a really great library for that. Training, we deliver training in various things, how to get the most out of 1Networking, how to get the most out of your role. We can deliver training on any part of networking or Rio that you would like. Co-working, that's coming up. So in summer, our all-inclusives are changing a little bit, and we're going to be having 2 weekly co-working sessions being facilitated by Katie Murray, who some of you may know. And it's basically going to be an hour where you get together and focus with each other in the room. So they're going to be open sessions, anyone can go, and more details about that to come. But they're great ways for motivation, for inspiring each other, for business development. And our socials, so we have online social events, and we also have 1 or 2, sometimes 3 face-to-face social events in various places in the UK so far. But we could go further afield, Machaba, if you're interested as well. So they're brilliant as well for making new connections. So that's how we tick the boxes of the 5 pillars. Next up is the how. So the various things, a lot of this comes from the weekly meetings. So for example, if you want people to be going out there finding referrals, introductions, and opportunities for you, you need to train your team. We always say that in our induction training, the people in your weekly meeting are your sales team, and you would never have a sales team that you didn't train to within an inch of their life on what you did and who you are. So every single week you have the opportunity to retrain your sales team. And I think that's a really important way to look at it. So in your 1 minute, think of things. What do these people on this screen need to know about me? That means that they can go out and listen out for referrals, introductions, and opportunities for me. So every single week, everybody has that opportunity in the 1 minute. And that includes a fun question, because we all learn a little bit more about each other as people by answering the fun question. The insight, so once every few weeks you get the opportunity to really train your team by telling them more about your business. So I guess I'm training you guys on what I believe that 1Networking is all about a little bit, so that you can go out and listen out for people that might need help with any of those 5 pillars that we talked about, and that you can talk more about how we do it. But that, I think, really important part of your membership and your attendance at the weekly meetings is it is your chance to train the people on how they can help you. So that's so important. The breakout rooms in the In Focus, that's generally a chance to either make new connections, to learn about different things, but really importantly, to work on your business. Don't know about you guys, but I never work on my business enough at the moment. I'm always so busy fool a lot of the time, and I don't take the amount of time that I advise other people to just sit and focus on things. So if you're the same as me, you know that by attending your weekly meetings, you have at least 2 opportunities within that meeting to work on your business. Granted, it might only be 10-15 minutes here and there, but that is still, if you're doing that every week and really focusing, really engaging, that is brilliant for your business. Weekly wins. So as part of the meeting guideline, we have the weekly wins, and it is scientifically proven that the more you focus on positive stuff, the more positive stuff you will find that will appear. It's all to do with the neural connections in your brain. I won't go into that. That's a whole other insight, but it's true. So in every meeting, we go around and we ask, tell us about your weekly wins. And just by doing that, even if you're doing it just once a week, it will help your brain focus more on positives. So if you're talking about a great client that you got last week, that's your brain is more likely to seek out a great client again in the future. So trust me, it's work, it's science, isn't it? Rio, so Machaba will talk about this in a little more detail for your benefit later, but Rio stands for referrals, introductions, opportunities. We have a system in place that helps our members think about each other between meetings, and that gives us, again, it gives us great accountability. It helps us keep that positive focus that I've just talked about. And it gives us the opportunity to be grateful to each other. So if somebody says, yeah, I had a Rio point, I got a great introduction for Joanne to write some amazing copy and social proof, etc. And then Joanne can say, oh, thank you for that. And do you know what? Again, it sounds not important, but when we bring positive stuff to a meeting and we're grateful for positive stuff, it's just a great way to spend an hour and a half of every single week. Apologies, that might sound a bit woo-woo, but it's absolutely true, and it absolutely works. Our sprints, we talked about that. So sprints bring along connections and collaborations. Business Academy, I've talked about. Again, development, learning, and motivation, ticking all those pillars. Visitor meetings, talked about, brings more connections. The co-working, hugely powerful for working on your business, because basically the way they're run, your cameras are on, you're mute, you're working on it, you can ask questions, you can help each other, but you're there, you have to work on your business, and you'll find you'll work on things more there than you would if there wasn't other people with you. And socials, we've talked about connections and collaborations. And then the final thing, just in terms of, we asked the question, who wouldn't you want as a client? This is a little bit of who we do want as fellow networkers, because the key attributes of a great networker is if you are somebody that is positive and enthusiastic, a great listener, because that is so important. We can't learn about each other's business if we don't listen. Genuine and sincere, that helps us build up trust, and we can demonstrate that by the way we present ourselves at meetings. If we're reciprocal, is that an actual word? But anyway, if we're not just about get what we can get from networking, it's about what we can give. And we all know that if the more we give, the more we're likely to get. Great at follow-ups. Follow-up is so important, and we want people that are going to do what they say they're going to do. Consistent, so those people that are turning up weekly, showing the face, demonstrating that they are reliable, is so important in networking. Supportive and encouraging is super important. Being engaged in our meetings, and we all are today. It's wonderful, people nodding and putting thumbs up and things. You can be very engaged on an online meeting just by the way that we gesticulate and how we connect in the chat as well, and open to new ideas. Because do you know what, I've never come away from a 1N meeting without another great idea for my own business, even if it's listening to what someone's done in their business. If you're open to listening, open to new ideas, you'll always come away with new ideas rather. Okay, that's all I had on the slides. I'm going to stop that. Yay, I managed to stop my share, even though I couldn't share my share at the beginning. So that's those are the things that that in my head that 1Networking is all about. I would love to know, either now or separately outside of this meeting, your thoughts on that, whether you think I've missed anything, whether you think that we could be doing it in a different way. As I said, they're just bullet points. That's not what we're going to be putting out. They're just kind of the bones of it. But that's me. That is 1Networking as far as I see it. But you guys do it far more than me. You're in meetings far more than me. So do give me your feedback.